right? Now, please join me in welcoming the Canadian Society of Safety Engineering President, the colorful and my friend, Eldeen Pozniak. Ladies and gentlemen, Eldeen.
Wow! It is great to be here at the ASSE conference and bring you greetings and well wishes from, with your PDC from Canada to you, Mr. President, to IOSH, other associate dignitaries, and invited guests and ASSE delegates. Of course, some of you come to conferences such as this, not only for professional development, networking opportunities, getting new contacts, but for the cultural aspect of the location as well. Us Canadians north of the border, we find that as well. We love to come down here, especially during the winter when it's cold up there and nice and warm down here. And, you know, I've spent a couple of moments seeing some sights, being in very early, seeing a couple shows. Yeah, it's amazing how this is the epitome of hazard and risk assessment, being in Vegas, isn't it? Because one day or one moment you're sitting at a machine pulling an arm, next day you wake up wearing something like this. So maybe I'll just get a little bit of assistance to take the wings off just in case a big wind comes up and doesn't blow me away here. These things are quite heavy. Thank you. Well, so part of the cultural aspect that's here, I was looking, you know, at what is the motto for Vegas? You know, certain things only happen in Vegas. But really what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's what we often hear in Canada. And I really tried to see how that applied to our profession, to our respective organizations, the CSSE and ASSE, and to this conference. So I started to look at a couple of the different aspects. And I guess one of the topics that came up was the topic of networking, right? The topic of networking. On the topic of networking, when I look at what we should be taking away from Vegas is very much contact information of other safety professionals from around the globe. As you know, and what should stay in Vegas is contact information of others that we have met in Vegas from around the globe. Hazard and risk assessment. On the topic of transportability of safety credentials, one of the things that we should be taking away from Vegas is improved skills and international relationship information. The CSSE, along with other organizations such as ASSE and IOSH, all believe that this profession is the best profession that we possibly can have, and we support the concepts of professional development within it. Conferences such as this one allow us to expand those knowledge, that skill, the competencies that are necessary. And that information, those tools, should not be left here in Vegas. The CSSE is working with organizations such as ASSE, IOSH, INCHPO, to further explore the competencies of the profession at home, as well as in that international transportability concept. So if we look along the same veins, though, the things that stay in Vegas should be any package given to you by a stranger. On the topic of relationships and partnerships, a little further with that, take the ideas of other people and other professionals that are here, and as well as our working relationships. Ray did say it, that we are just friends waiting to happen. So if you see myself or Ray, please come say hi. You may not recognize me without the feathers, but, you know, try. Networking between our organizations is key to our success. There is a large voice when it comes to numbers. So partnering on initiatives such as NAOSH and the Professional Day allow further emphasis and general knowledge of what we do every day throughout North America. Our Canadian NAOSH launch this year was in our capital, Ottawa, and we were honored by the support and the participation of the U.S. counterparts. We had a wonderful time at the post-luncheon at the U.S. Embassy and had wonderful speakers from your country. These types of initiatives and partnerships And relationship activities come from meetings that we have at conferences such as this when we have the opportunity to get together. Conversations and ideas, safety and health related, of course, that are generated at formal meetings or within workshops, over a meal, or even a social event here, blossom into these types of initiatives. They're to be taken back, worked on, and fostered. So if we look at this concept about relationships and partnerships, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, maybe we should keep, here any relationship that started at the wedding chapel on the Strip. On the topic of professional development, things to take away from Vegas, new knowledge and skills learned at the Professional Development Conference. You have a wonderful array of speakers here. Take away that knowledge that they give to you. And then when we take a look at things that should stay in Vegas, maybe new knowledge and skills learned at the gambling tables. On the topic of renewed passion and re-energization, things to take away from Vegas is definitely that renewed energy, the passion that we get from meeting with people who have that common interest as we get together to discuss and share, as well as cut loose a little. What we do is intense. We work to make sure the mums and the dads and the sons and daughters go home at the end of the day. We need to refuel our tanks every once in a while, and organizations such as the ASSE and CSSE, we assist with that, through information, networking opportunities, and knowing that people out there have our backs when things get rough. So when we look at things that maybe should stay in Vegas along passion and re-energization, so any other passion or stuff that we get, that energized you that you may have come across here in Vegas should maybe stay in Vegas. The contacts and the networks, right, are just so important that are here. The re-energization that we get from being with and supporting each other needs to be carried with us over the year until we can get together next year and not stay in Vegas. And not just next year, but tomorrow and next week and next month. The contacts and the networks working together, whether we are organizations or individuals, should not be forgotten once we leave Vegas, but utilized and celebrated throughout the whole year. You need to take it home to our workplaces, to our communities. The information, the skills that we share here, so that we can be the best that we can be within our profession. It's an honor to be invited to speak to you all today, and I look forward to meeting most of you over the next week. I wish you a successful conference. Be safe, and thank you very much.